If you're a busy mom and you're, having a really hard time losing weight here, you're really going to want to watch this because we have to talk about, do you have to count calories to lose fat? Obviously, the answer is no. You don't have to. It's kind of like you don't need to have a calculator to get the answer to 10 plus 10. But as the numbers get higher, right? Like as we start to really dive deep in, I ask you a question like, what's 15 times 37? No different than like how many, if I asked you how many calories did you eat today and you had one meal, maybe you could clue in and maybe guess and be close enough. But if you're eating 3, 4 meals like you should to fuel your body properly with enough energy, and I asked you how many calories do you have today, you're not going to be able to tell me. And if you did, you'd probably be off drastically, drastically. So, do you have to count calories to lose body fat? You can get away with it until you can't. So it works until it doesn't. And then you end up coming back to the same place you started in because you didn't really know how you got there. You kind of just winged it. So instead of winging your math tests and not using a calculator and knowing how to use one, it's very important that you learn macros and you learn how to be able to fit in all the foods you love into your nutrition, and you're actually aware of that. So let me tell you what, like, let me show you what I'm talking about here, because I'm going to share my screen and I'll break it down really short and sweet because you guys don't have time, and I want to make sure that this is sweet and short so you guys can always take little bits and bites each day and actually get value. I want to give you guys as much value as, yeah, I want to give you more value than you would ever expect so you could actually start to see results right away. Everything I tell you can get you the same amount of results that my clients get. It's just a matter of you actually putting it into practice. So, number one is, in my opinion, do you have to track calories or count calories isn't the question. It's that all the calories count, right? All the calories that you consume count. So look at it that way. Instead of saying, oh, well, do I have to count calories? Instead, ask yourself, do all the calories count? And yes, they do. If you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose body fat, meaning you need to burn more calories than you're consuming, right? A lot of people just try to eat less. They just try to think, oh, calorie deficit, I'll just cut out all my calories. Well, what happens if you try to just eat less rather than eating as much as you can while being in a calorie deficit is you get tired, you burn out, and you can't stick to it. And then you can't sustain your results because you're eating, like people have extreme goals, right? I know somebody in my life right now that has a very extreme goal of wanting to lose an X amount of weight in 30 days because she has an event, and understandable. But she also admits to the fact that she doesn't expect to keep her results, and that is her decision. But for those of you ladies that are in your 30s, 40s, you're sick and tired of just trying to drop 10 pounds for a wedding, or you want to actually keep off the weight, right? So you need to learn how to keep the foods that your family love and eat it in the right amounts without all the hard work. Like it takes my clients less than 5 seconds to just count their calories, right? The night before to figure out what they're going to be eating. No different. So here's what I want you to know is if you're trying to start measuring your food and you want to do it the easiest way possible and you think, oh, I'll just use a measuring cup. Here's why you need to swallow the hard pill of being like, I'm going to learn what 100 grams of chicken looks like by using a food scale so that I also know in the future that once I've done it a few times, I will always know what 100 grams of chicken looks like so that for the rest of my life, I can understand, oh, I had 150 grams of protein and know that intuitively. So if I'm sharing my screen with you, look how bad it is. Look how inaccurate it is to just go with a measuring cup. So you look at a measuring cup, and at the top here, right? Well, first let's look at the food label. It says 1 cup is 56 grams, and that's 200 calories. So then this woman or man puts the measuring, fills it up to 1 cup, and what he notices is that it's 81 grams, not 56 like the nutrition label does. People don't pay attention to this. They don't understand because they would rather use measuring cups instead of a food scale. Because for whatever reason, a food scale is more complicated, which it's not. That's a limiting belief. It takes no time at all. It takes me 5 seconds. And I want to really, if you still feel this way, I'm going to share something with you in a second that's going to completely change the fact or maybe the idea that you think that this is work. It's not. 56 grams is actually the top, and as you can see, that's not quite 1 cup. It's actually you're over consuming. You're over consuming 89 additional calories if you only stuck to that measuring cup versus weighed out your food. But this is why it even gets more difficult when you're doing things that are high in fat. You look at 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, Like literally 1 tablespoon could, if you weigh it, it could be 15 grams, right? But if you grab a if you grab a different spoon and you fill it up, that could be, instead of it being 15 grams, it's 30 grams. It's double the amount, even though it's a tablespoon, because weight never lies, volume lies, right? So you really need to, instead of using a measuring cup, learn how to be able to visually see what 100 grams of chicken looks like, see what 30 grams of peanut butter looks like, so that you stop over consuming calories and you're so frustrated with your lack of results. Okay. And this takes some time. So you can't expect to undo all of the weight that you've gained, all of the years of fad diets and doing things the quick and easy way. You can't undo that in like 30 days. A lot of our clients on average lose 10 to 30 pounds in 90 days. A lot of you guys are just cutting out entire food groups and losing 10 pounds in 30 days, 20 pounds in 30 days because you're cutting out all this food. You can't keep it off. So what's the point? Right? So, and then it's addicting to do that because you step on the scale and you see 10 pounds drop because you just cut out a bunch of carbs, and it's like gambling. It's addicting. It's like you love to see the number drop every single day. And so now that you have this habit, it's like if the scale doesn't drop in the first week, you're like, oh, it doesn't work for me. And so that's like saying you go gambling and you put in $10 and you make 1,000, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. But then you try to learn how to make money without gambling. It's not going to happen overnight, right? You're building a business. It's been 3 years for me. I'm at 80 clients. I have passed 6 figures as a business owner. I'm just being transparent with you guys here. But it has taken me 3 years to, it's taken me a year and a half to get there. And then now to get to the next point in my business where I'm impacting more women's lives, right? I need to build more assets, more skills, I need to get rid of limiting beliefs, things like that, that have held me back from getting to the next level. And it doesn't happen overnight. The good things don't happen overnight. But Coach Jen and I are here to support you so that you never need to follow another program ever again. Now, I wrote down something that I wanted you ladies to really hear. Really, like I need all of you ladies to listen to this. Okay. The reason why you won't take the time to track your food is the same reason why you don't take the time to text a friend every day. They just aren't your priority. All right. If you're not texting your friends or family every single day, it's not a priority to you, right? So this is the same case with your food. It's just not a priority to you, right? You just don't care to see results because you feel like stuck, you feel hopeless, you feel like, oh, what's the point? Because nothing has ever worked for you in the past, or maybe you've done macros, but you're way too restrictive about it. Like you were way too extreme trying to be perfect about it. So it takes 5 seconds to text somebody you care about. Remember that. And it also takes 5 seconds to write down what you ate or to plan out what you want to eat for the day. It takes 5 to 10 seconds. So if you're overwhelmed right now about simply tracking your food or counting your calories, it's simply because you don't care enough to at the moment. And so people make time for things that matter to them. And so if your results matter to you, if showing up for your kids and getting down on your hands and knees without being in pain or feeling like you're out of breath matters to you, you're going to learn how to be able to properly count your calories in the short term so that for the long term, you actually understand how much food you need to be eating, because it's never been about what you eat. When it comes to fat loss, it's always about how much. And if you're under eating, that's not better. Simply just saying, oh, I'm at a deficit, cutting out all these calories isn't the answer, because you want to be eating as much food as possible while being in a deficit. Otherwise, you get too tired, you burn out, and then you can't stick to it. And that's not sustainable, right? So that is it. Do I have to count calories to lose body fat? Absolutely, for the short term, so that you actually build the awareness and get ahead of 99% of the population, because most people don't know how much protein is in 100 grams of Greek yogurt. And even if they did, they don't know what that looks like unless they start for the short term weighing their food out properly. Peace and love, ladies.